Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Modern Knights podcast. I'm your host, Luke Jones. With me is once again my faithful co-host,
Nico, Calderala.
We are taking a break from our Warriors series this week. Some of you are probably sad and just cried a little inside. Some of you are probably going, thank God, something else other than talking about being a warrior. Whichever camp you're in, cool beans.
Yep.
We're going to move on. So we're going to be talking about the state of our political arena. So fasten your seatbelts, boys and girls. It's fixing to be a spicy episode.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be honest. Nico and Chuckles have been wanting to talk about like politics and stuff a bit more in depth than we have. I have kind of pushed it off to the side because I didn't want this to really become like a continuous topic where we were always talking about the political world and such.
Yeah.
But
because life is more than politics, by the way.
Yes, it is. But we have a presidential election coming up here in a couple weeks, and we feel that, and we felt like this long before, but we were deciding to talk about it a bit more in depth in an episode now, talking about the political arena and how important this election is. I know you've heard it once, you've heard it a million times. Go vote, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
We're just here to give you guys our perspective. I think I can speak for everyone here at the Modern Knights podcast, TMK, the TMK studio, whatever you want to fill in the blank there with. Our political arena is no longer just the Democrats versus Republicans or this political viewpoint versus this political viewpoint. It's really become more of a what's right against what's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't really, as much as I hate to say it, if I hear someone's like a Democrat or a liberal, I tend to not have a super high view of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say that because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's not a matter of like, oh, I think the country should be ran this way. Oh, well, I think the country should be ran this way. And, like, if that's it, we can find a happy middle ground.
Yeah.
But there's no middle ground anymore on almost anything. You got one side that's saying, yeah, run the country into the ground and let's kill all of our babies before they've even breathed. And if they have breathed, let's kill them anyways. Better yet, if we decide not to kill them, let's just mutilate their bodies, right? And destroy them forever, put them on these irreversible hormone blockers. Also, let's let in all these criminals from other countries who don't want to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And let's let them murder, rape, and pillage. And on top of that, we'll give them an all expenses paid living experience. They won't pay a dime out of pocket. And then you have the other side that's saying, let's get the economy back in place. Let's not kill all of our children. Better yet, let's also not castrate and mutilate their bodies because that's not good for them long term. Let's, have gas that's less than $2 a gallon. Let's have groceries that people can afford.
Sorry.
So whether you want to call it right versus wrong or stupidity versus common sense, either way, I think it's gone way beyond just a this is my political view versus this is my your political view. This is now this is my moral viewpoint on the world, and this is yours, and they are so different. They're not even remotely similar.
Mm. And it's shocking. It's so shocking to me how people can't see through what they're voting for because some people don't even know. Some people, okay, for example, this election coming up, it's Kamala Harris, as now they put it, versus Donald Trump. like a fighting match.
Despite the fact that Kamala Harris was never elected in the Democratic primaries, but
And
we're just
people,
brushing that under the rug.
yep, because the Democrats, I'm going to use a word that people are going to hate me for, but
there's people that hate us already.
yeah.
Go ahead.
The Democrats are not very smart. You guys
Also, I'm sorry, I got something in my throat, so ignore me.
You guys
puffing my lungs
preach
out.
democracy, yet you guys didn't even vote in who you want to be the president.
Which is the exact opposite
Yeah.
of democracy.
And it's just
you were
shocking.
the guy that you voted in ended up dropping out,
Yeah.
and then everyone else said, "All right, you will now vote for this person or vote for Donald Trump."
Yeah.
And that's not democracy. You guys did not choose. Now there's some who just don't care, and it's like, all right, whatever, you don't care, but don't claim that we have a democracy, which, by the way, we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic, vastly different.
Yeah.
This is not a country where majority rules. It's not supposed to be. It's been mutilated into that, but it's not supposed to be.
Try to manipulate you into thinking it is. And George Washington even said the two political party system will destroy this country.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. It is coming.
I would argue it's in progress,
Yes.
or that even has happened. We just have not reaped the full repercussions of our actions. And just to clarify some muddy waters, probably some people who are like, "Oh, I legit thought we were a democracy." I did for a bit, and then I was corrected, knocked over the head, and I was like, "No, we're a constitutional republic." So to kind of explain that, the difference there in a democracy, what happens, what becomes law, so on and so forth in the nation is based on majority rule. Everyone votes, but if 45 out of 50 votes say that we're going to go to war, we're going to go to war. If 35 out of 40 votes say that we are going to kill all of our children, we're going to kill all of our children. If 55 out of 56 votes say that we are going to build new houses for the homeless and give them a fresh start, we're going to build fresh houses for the homeless and give them a fresh start, right? Whatever the majority rules is what is going to happen. Doesn't matter how crazy or how kind or how evil, whatever they say is going to happen. A constitutional republic takes our founding fathers took our sinful nature into account, because again, we've talked about this, but once again, America was founded on biblical principles. The vast majority of our founding fathers were God-fearing men who knew that we are sinners and have our sinful nature. So they took that into account when they made us a constitutional republic, because the Constitution limits the authority of the government, so that the government cannot one day become power hungry and just take over everything. That's why we're not tyrannically ruled right now, even though they're desperately trying to, because there's a pesky document called the Constitution. The New York Times actually came out with an article saying that the Constitution might be the most dangerous thing to like the liberty and freedom of America. That's the one thing that gives that's the one piece of paper that gives all of that to America. So I don't know what the New York Times people is on,
a liberal
but
news
they're on
source.
something. They're cracked up.
Yeah. New York Times is a liberal news source. They've wrote many articles about how Trump could be what they claim as evil, but what us Christians would think of it as the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And my uncle actually posted on Facebook, my mom told me last night, saying conservatives preach all about the Antichrist, yet they can't see it when they're voting for him. If you think Trump is the Antichrist, you're completely wrong. It's not going to be a white. I'm sorry for all the liberals watching this. It's not going to be a white man. It won't.
No.
It's, if you read the Bible, it is not, the Antichrist is not a white man.
Nope, he's going to come out of the Middle East.
Yep.
If memory serves correctly, I believe out of Israel specifically. So,
and he's going to rebuild the Roman Empire, which, hood the Antichrist be in America right now? Yeah, but he would have had to be born from, you said, Israel, if we're thinking.
Well, I guess
I believe it's
technically, if his like origin of descent is from Israel, I guess that could technically still count. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just giving the general details. We're not giving the specifics. So stop acting like we have all the specific details when we don't. We're giving the general sum of this is what's going to happen, and you guys are making too much of a fuss out of it. You're driving me nuts.
It's driving all us conservatives nuts because liberals are nuts.
The truth hurts, all right? If the boot fits.
It does.
And I'm just saying, if the boot fits.
Chuckles is going to be mad. He's going to be, why would you say that? Hey.
If the boot fits.
Yep. It's speaking truth.
So, but if you haven't figured it out by now, both of us are going to be, well, wait, are you?
I actually can't vote in this election.
He won't be.
Nope.
I will be.
Yeah.
I'll be voting for Donald Trump, and it's not because I think he's this like righteous saint. He's sinful. He's a sinner just like us. He's got things that he's done wrong. We've all got things we've done wrong. Welcome to humanity.
Yeah.
All right, but given the choice between a cackling maniac who scares people, all she knows and loves is yellow school buses, cackles like she's auditioning to be the Joker, and no one respects her. If she was going to do any good for the country, she would have done it in the last 4 years as the vice president. She ain't done squat but help run this country into the ground.
Yep. And who knows if our president's even alive right now?
Yeah.
Who they say the president is.
Yeah. She's a lying freak. I mean, her record is 100% against her.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, meanwhile, we had gas that was under $1. We could afford groceries. We could afford rent, energy, utilities.
Lower taxes.
Lower taxes. Whereas he used to be 100% pro-life. He's now no longer 100% pro-life.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that he's ruled it where it is not a federal decision of whether or not people can kill their children. I do appreciate the fact that he's given it to the states to decide.
Yeah.
I would agree that that's more of a state thing.
Yeah. And
but
I believe the reason that he did that was because I don't think he's sharing his opinion. I think if he ends up winning the election or if he ends up losing, I think he'll share his opinion then about it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he wants to lose some votes, which we are nearing the election. He should share his opinion, but also he's waiting till he is either in office or out of the election in general to share his opinion so he doesn't lose some voters for it.
Yeah, which strategically, makes sense.
Yeah.
But I do think that what I do really think, I'm 100% pro-life.
Yes.
If the option of abortion is available in this country, I do think it should be given to the states for hopefully the states to strike down. But really, I do think it should be federal law that you cannot kill your child.
Yeah.
If there's like a specific medical thing where it's like it's the mother or the baby, I'd be willing to like talk it out. But even in that case, I think I'd still say no.
Yeah.
I know I'm a man. I can't get pregnant and such. But if God had, decided otherwise and made me a woman, I would rather die and my baby have life.
Yep.
That's just that is the love that a parent should have for his or her children.
Yeah.
Is the like, hey, I will lay down my life for you so that you can have yours.
Yeah.
The fact that the baby just hasn't breathed oxygen on its own yet doesn't change that. It shouldn't change that.
Yeah, and I believe I want to say 2021 Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Yes, I was
And
thrilled when that happened.
everyone, I should say all the liberals were upset because they're like, well, a lot of these men are overturning our women's rights. So actually, there are, I believe, 3 women judges, and one of them had to have voted yes because there were 5 out of the, is it 9 judges?
9,
9.
yes.
5 out of the 9 judges. Actually, wait, my numbers are wrong. 7 out of the 9 judges, because it's majority in the Supreme Court, I think. 7 out of the 9 judges voted yes on that. So that has to mean one of the women.
Imagine the irony of every last woman struck down Roe v. Wade on there.
Yeah.
And it was the men going, what about your women's rights?
I would, if they release like what the Supreme Court judges voted for, I would laugh if it was just all the women.
I would be on the ground rolling.
Yeah.
The irony that would be absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
But going back to what I was saying, given the choice between Donald Trump, who has a good track record as president, and in his whole, I guess it's really all his political track record he has as being president. And then look at Kamala Harris, who her entire career has been political. She doesn't give a flying rip about anyone but herself.
Nope.
She jailed a mom because her daughter had now gone to school because she was dying in a hospital. And the mom was sent to jail because of Kamala Harris.
And one of the judges that actually was on one of her cases, because she was a district attorney, and one of the judges, I think it's Judge something Brown, maybe Joe Brown. I'm not really sure, but his last name was Brown, and he actually exposed Kamala Harris, but obviously they're not going to publicly put that out because the news doesn't advertise anything bad against the Democratic Party. So I encourage you guys to go look up Judge Brown exposing Kamala Harris, because it's actually a really good video, and he explains everything that he because he deals with actually a majority of her cases, I think. So he explains a lot of the stuff that he's seen from her, and that he knows that she's this evil person, and he's just seen everything from her. So
yeah. So even if you think Donald Trump is evil, or if you think they're both evil, you can't tell me Donald Trump isn't the lesser of the two evils. So I feel like it's really just a no-brainer choice given the option between the two. So that's my little, however you want me to look at it. I'm gonna go Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Cuz I've been out on my own, outside of my parents' home, paying for all my own stuff. I never paid for it when Trump was in office. I was still living with my parents. I've only recently moved out within the last couple months, but let me tell you, it's hard to afford stuff.
Yeah.
So the only reason I'm able to do it is because I'm splitting it with 2 other guys.
Yep. And I mean, it's so hard because obviously I can't vote this election. I'm turning 17 this month. And I really want Trump to win, because whenever I get out of high school and go into my adult life, it's going to be hard to afford things. And especially I'm going to go to college, and it's going to be really, really hard paying for college and then having to do all that.
Groceries and all that other stuff.
It's going to be really, really hard.
Yep. So that is our little political spiel. Do you have anything else to add?
In Missouri, if you're local, we live in Missouri.
Oh, yes.
If you're local,
vote no on Amendment 3.
Yes.
Protect babies. Keep Missouri pro-life.
Yes. And basic rundown demonstration on it, if you don't know what it is. It's pretty much Missouri. I have to look this up because I'm not sure. Missouri's abortion law has always been illegal. Abortion in Missouri has always been illegal for a while. I'm not sure how long. I believe so. Yeah. And they brought up this amendment because Trump said he wanted to bring it back down to the states. So they actually brought this amendment back to the States, like he said, and they're going to try and get you to vote yes on it to make it legal again.
Yeah.
And
so vote no.
No,
protect
yes.
children, and also by default protect women, right?
Yes. Which they'll say you're not protecting them, but in the end, you're protecting them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of women who have been jacked up after having abortions.
Yeah.
So, and pumping their body full of synthetic pills that jack up their regular hormone cycle.
Yep.
So, all kinds of reasons to vote no on it, but vote no on Amendment 3.
Do your research on politics, especially if you're a Christian that's undecided with your vote. Please do your research. Please relate biblical terms to your research that you find on these politicians. Relate back to the Bible. Pray about it. We encourage you to use your voice to stand up for what is, as he said, right and what is wrong.
Yep. Use your mind that the Lord gave you to think and formulate your own opinion, and not just whatever someone shoves down your throat. So yes, that means go fact check us. All right, go. I'm forgetting which people group it was, but Paul was even fact checked by one of the churches that he planted. He'd teach, and they'd go and fact check what he said. Be like, "Is that in the Bible?" And they'd find it was, and be like, "Cool beans, it's in the Bible." Or, well, okay, they didn't have the Bible then, but like the prophets and such. Make sure they made sure what he was saying was right. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. So, all right. Well, with that, we're going to move on to our fact and joke of the week.
The joke of the day.
Joke of the week.
Of the week. I keep saying day. I keep saying day. What did Moses say when he came down the mountain and saw the Israelites worshiping a golden calf?
I guess it wasn't, "Are you kidding me?"
He said, "Holy cow." Another
holy cow, I can't believe you're doing this.
Another dad joke for you.
That's
Man,
funny.
I really hope Chuckle's head is hurting at these episodes.
Hey, he's sitting there. He's taking a breather. He's like,
yeah,
my soul. All right, for the fun fact. In Viking culture, Icelandic poets were considered the most gifted, outshining all others. I don't know if that's like all other poets or like anything else you could be in society. I'm gonna guess poets, but yeah. So fun fact there, the Vikings of poetry.
Yeah. Wonder if
who would have thought?
Wonder if they stayed on those big mountains that were snowing like they picture in the movies, and they just started writing down some poetry.
Yeah, just trying to stay feeling warm and fuzzy, so they started writing poetry. I guess I don't know. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna pray. Lord, thank you for this day. I pray for this upcoming election. Lord, I pray that your will would be done, and I pray that righteousness and goodness would prevail against the evil tyranny that is threatening to overrule us. I pray that your church would stand for what is righteous and just and good, and I pray that we would not bow to man, but to you and to you alone. Lord, I pray that we would love you with all of our hearts, all of our souls, all of our minds, and all of our strength. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
That was easy.